Alright, welcome back to Progressive E. Now, we are here today at the motocross track once again to settle a dispute. Electric versus combustion. Now the RMZE's now got a 64-tooth sprocket on the rear, so hopefully we've got that little bit more top end. We can clear that 60 foot over there. This bad boy's had a bit of a spruce up. She's had her forks rebuilt. So far, probably got about 4.5 into it, 4.5 grand into this bike. There's probably more like 20 in this bike. So there's your sort of money difference. Now this one here is probably going to be needing a piston and rings soon. And that is something, as you know, we got to do like every 50 hours, you know, maybe a little bit more, maybe every 60 hours, but majority of the time it's roughly around every 50 hours, and you'll spend $300-400 just on parts doing that. You'll do piston, rings, cam chain if you're a smart man, at minimum. And that's just on parts, let alone if you don't do the work yourself, then you're going to pay labour on top of that if you don't work on your bike. So these things can be a total money pit, and I'll be very intrigued to see how much money I spend on this versus this over the duration of a couple of years. I'm guessing this is very easily going to equivalent to the same as this over a few years, especially if I wasn't starting with a second-hand bike. I got lucky, spent about 3 grand on the bike, and then I've, you know, thrown a little bit more at it, so yeah. So we're gonna get out there and we're gonna have a rip. I got 2 batteries for this bad boy, and I got plenty of gas for this bad boy. She's gonna go all day long. This one here, I'm probably only gonna get 2 hours, but it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fun. Let's get out there and we'll take it back to the workshop and I'll tell you my findings. Which one do I like more? Electric, combustion, or do I like both?
Just feel the rage that's burning up inside
me. Alright, first up, the RMZE. Heading out on track. Sorry mate, I'm going to cut in front of you. Going to smash this little 50 footer. Woo! Now coming up to the finishing jump, the 60 foot. I wasn't doing last time because I didn't quite have the speed. I've now got the speed. Here we go. Bang! Mind you, only just got enough speed in this bike. I really need a different motor combo to get this thing producing a bit more power. Don't mind the singing, I just do that to calm myself down. I really like just sort of having a bit of a hum to myself. Really just gets me in the zone.
I'm a feet in the night. Whew. Give us a comment if singing calms you down. That'll whip. Hey.
Loving it. Now we're going to skip forward. Skip the bits of the track that I don't really do. I'm not a motocross rider. I am just more of a send it kind of guy. I just like jumps. That's really all I like. I like having a bit of cornering fun, maybe out on the vet track, but most of the time I just love the jumps. Same thing, only just enough speed to clear that. I'm absolutely hammering on the power. Alright, so going to skip past the rollers there. I'm not a motocross rider, as we all know. I hate rollers. Now coming up to this roadside 60 foot, really hammering on the power to try and clear it, and I still case it. Now on both bikes, this is a hard jump to hit. It's straight out of the corner. It's a pretty big jump for straight out of the corner with no run up. Both bikes struggle on that one, but the electric actually does it better, just having that instant torque straight up and over. Here we come, straight back up to that 60 foot finisher. Bang, loving that jump, but still only just making it because of my motor combo on the old RMZE. But yeah, loving it. Here we go, starting to learn that triple now. Just need to give it a bit more pepper, and yeah, I'll be clearing that just fine. Same thing on this jump really, not much run up. I hate jumps straight out of a corner, it's not really my thing. Really having to give it to her to clear it, but it's actually worse on the combustion, same sort of thing. It's hard, you actually got to smack it in second gear, as you'll see, to clear it, and you got to rev second out, which I don't like doing. It's hard on the gear. I am skipping the rhythm section at the moment and just hitting the last double. My goal is this weekend to have a good crack at learning that. Boom, 70 footer. Love that jump, bit of fun. Easiest jump on the track by far. Still got to give it all the noise on the electric bike. You just got to hold it on with my crappy QS motor. Alright, on the RMZE 250F. Now, I do love this bike. It's a good bike. It's a good fun bike. As we all know, 254 strokes are a very good bike to learn on. And I guess you could still call me a learner. Very new to having my own full-size combustion bike. Now, I would agree with you that this is a lot more entertaining to watch. To some people might enjoy watching the electric and listening to the electric noise, but combustion does, it is a bit more entertaining. And here we go, into the 60 foot, holding her wide, clicking forth, boom, there she is, beautiful and clean. It is quite a lot easier to clear on this bike just because you got gears. But once again, if I had a better motor, the RMZE would just be eating this bike. Coming into the little 50 foot, now this is just a good fun jump. I like this jump, very stylish, little foot brake there. Loving me some foot brake, gotten used to that. Now coming into this step up, I hate it. I'm revving out second. If I could grab third, sometimes I would, but yeah, not really that nice to be revving out your engine. Certainly hard on the gear, and certainly going to be having you do a top end rebuild a lot sooner. One of those things that, as we know, combustion is just, it's wear and tear 24/7. Clearing that little double there, loving that. There's no two ways around it. Combustion is certainly a lot harder to ride, but certainly a lot more rewarding. You piece all the things together when it comes to gears and braking, and really just have fun with it, listening to that motor. You really do start to enjoy it, but I actually enjoy the electric a lot more, and there's a few reasons for that. Now this roadside 60 foot, I'm not even going to try it on the gas bike. It's just too hard on the gear, and I want to be nice to the bike. I don't really want to be doing any more maintenance than what I have to, so I'm just not even bothering with it. Now let's talk about the differences between how an electric bike jumps and a gas bike. Now I've got a kid on an 85 in front of me, so I'm just going to wait a little bit here. But getting into how these bikes jump, they're very different. Now the RMZE weighs 120 kilos, a bit over 120 kilos. The YZ weighs roughly 110 kilos, like 106 to 110 kilos wet. That's full tank of gas. They jump totally different. Now what is really weird, the gas bike, as you can see there, I'm doing the triple, yeah baby. The gas bike feels heavier in the air. Now I completely blew out with that. Now there's just something about the fact that you've got another spinning mass fighting you the whole time that makes the bike feel really heavy. Now as you can see there, I stuffed up my gear change and completely stuffed those jumps up, which is just something that happens with gas bikes, unfortunately, especially when you haven't been riding gas bikes that long. Getting back to what I was saying, the best way I could describe this is if you've ever seen those fitness training ball things that give you stronger wrist muscles. Here's a photo of one. It's the same thing. You've got a spinning mass that the whole time is fighting your movement. So for things like tail whips, it can work in your favor. You rev the bike out and a gas bike will pull straight quicker than what an electric bike will. It's really weird, but the whole time the gas bike just feels so heavy in the air, and like it's something that you can get used to, but it's still really weird when you would jump on the electric bike with how smooth it is as well. The drivetrain is butter. Like you've got no clunking, you've got no revving out gearbox. It's a completely different feel. It's buttery buttery smooth. It's really, really, really nice. But you're not fighting anything on the electric bike, which really plays into the way it feels in the air, and even just the way it feels in general. An electric bike is really, really smooth. You've got no vibrations going through your body other than the ground. It's really nice. If I had to tell you which bike I would be having more fun on, it would be the electric bike. Just because of how easy it is to ride. Sanding that 60 foot, man, I love that jump. Just because of how easy it is to ride, how relaxing it is to ride, and you can really just turn off and have fun. You've got your brakes on your handlebars. In our case, we've got that regen brake, which is just awesome, really cuts down on your fatigue. Now, as you can see here, I'm just gassed. I'm just stopping on the track. I'm like, nah, had enough. I'm gonna sit here for a bit, chill out. But yeah, the electric feels really nice in that way. Not to say the gas bike isn't fun to ride either. The gas bike is really fun to ride. But if I had to pick one or the other, I'd hands down pick the electric bike, just purely because how much fun and easy fun it can be. It's not complicated. It's simple, it's smooth, and it feels beautiful in the air. It's like jumping a mountain bike. It's the exact same thing, feels the exact same way, except you've got a motor to correct yourself when you go nose down. So I was shocked with that. So you could have a 130 kilo electric bike and it still feel lighter than a 100 kilo gas bike. It's really, really shocking. And things like hitting a jump in second gear doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel nice because you got too much engine braking. The biggest factor and the main reason to still be riding a gas bike is simply because you can put fuel in it. It's easy. You take a jerry can, you put fuel in it, away you go. But if there was charging at the track, it would be a no-brainer. You take 2 batteries out to the track and you go all day long. You just swap your batteries in and out and away you go. A ripper fun. Trail rides a bit different. You're going for overnight camping, you're gonna need some sort of generator, something along those descriptions, and really it's not really worth it. You may as well take your gas bike. So let's take these bikes back to the workshop or the tin shed and let's talk about it.
So then, electric or combustion? Old school, or do we entertain the idea of something new? The combustion, the noise, the revving, the gears, the vibrations, the ringing, the ear bleeding singing, the 2-stroke, the 4-stroke ripping. Or do we all start riding our girly drills between our legs? So I get it. I can understand the argument. Oh, I love the 2-stroke. Oh, the smell. Oh, I love my 4-stroke. Oh, the noise, the grunt, the low-end torque. Never gonna get any more torque than electric. So that one's not an argument, but I get it. I understand how people love the feeling of combustion, the old school way. But I think people are failing to entertain the idea of something new. Combustion. Easy to fill up and the feeling you get from riding it. That's it. In my opinion, they're the only perks of combustion versus electric. If you want to go for a multi-day trail ride, as I was talking about, it's not really applicable to take your electric bike. It's a lot easier to throw gas in something like this and go for a few days straight. It's a lot easier. Don't have to worry about a generator or some sort of charging off solar, multiple batteries situation, more of a headache. But if you want a bike that's more accessible, easier to ride, very low maintenance, electric is the answer. We've never ever been in a situation like today where we have these bikes that make it so much easier than what it was. To a lot of people, in order to ride their gas bike, they have to go for a few hours of driving to eventually get to some trail out the back of nowhere so they don't upset their neighbours. Electric, you can go for a rip up the back of your house, really anywhere in the suburbs, and you're not going to upset your neighbours. And so as a kid, this is the bike that is more suitable to you. Trying to haggle your parents all the time to go riding and take you out to the motocross track and go for a drive an hour away, maybe more, to your nearest trailhead is a headache and very tiring. You just want to get on your bike. You want to get on a bike and go for a ride. You know, I'm not advocating for riding on the road by any means, but you can find little trails and things very close to where you live and not upset anyone anymore, which is the real special thing about electric. Combustion, you got to go find somewhere to ride. You know, if the motocross track wasn't where it is, it's about 10 minutes away from me, and wasn't so accessible to me, I would not own this bike. There'd be no reason to. If I had charging at the track and I didn't have to bring a generator and all of that, I would not own this bike. Now, why is electric cheaper than combustion? You do the maths. So you say you spend 20 grand on a full-size moto. You say you buy 10 grand brand new bike. Within a few years of doing maintenance on a combustion bike, you easily have equivalated to the same cost as an electric bike, but it's been more of a headache. You've had to do more maintenance, less reliability. Everyone knows that headache of something going wrong out on the trail. It's very rarely happened on an electric bike. Because if you're looking after these things, i.e. good battery care, you're not discharging past 20% and you're not charging past 90%. You do that and you'll have a bike that will easily last you 10 years with good, reliable electronics, high-end electronics. Don't buy cheap, you buy cheap, poor man buys twice, right? With very minimal maintenance. Chain, sprockets, the minimum. Combustion, on the other hand, even if you buy a second-hand bike, you're probably going to be paying double throughout that duration of time. As I said, this thing I bought for around 3 grand. I've rebuilt the shocks and I've got to do the rear shock soon. And I'm guessing I'm probably also going to need to do a top end on it soon. There already alone is at least 2 grand. And that's doing the work myself. These aren't cheap to run. So the whole argument of saying, oh, electric's expensive. No, electric is an upfront cost. Combustion is an ongoing cost. 24/7 ongoing. Oh, but you brake electric. Sure, yeah, you can brake anything. But if you've got good reliable parts, there should be no reason why this can't last you easily 10 years. This bike being a prototype bike, very different concept. In order for me to make this bike reliable, I've got to do a couple of things. The first one being I would love to switch to, say, a XUB80 motor with a jack shaft, but with some sort of slipper clutch. Because if you land on power on these bikes, you are going to destroy transmissions, sprockets, chains, the lot. All right, the electric torque is so hard on the gear, but even the combustion bikes have clutch. They have some sort of slip, right? And then you got push drive, all the rest of it. So in order to make this reliable, that's what I'd have to do. Once I was to do that, you've then got a solid bike. We're then using the Ebmx X9000 controller, which is a solid controller. We're then using the XUB80 motor, which is a 50 kilowatt monster. And then as long as our bearings were good and things like that, we had some sort of give, i.e. a slipper clutch, maybe a push drive, something like that, you'd have a very reliable bike. And a bike that you could just hammer on and you'd be no dramas. This thing, on the other hand, I'm always worried about it, constantly worried about it. I've always got in the back of my mind, oh, if I rev it out here, you know, am I going to blow it up? Oh, if I land on power here, am I going to blow it up? Oh, there's a little oil leak there. Oh, I better fix that straight away because then if the oil doesn't get to the head, then the motor's cactus. You're always worried about it. These things are solid and they're cheaper to run in every way. But I still get it. I still get it. I still like to jump on this bike and change some gears and drop some clutch and whoop. I get it. I understand it. But as a riding standpoint, which bike is actually funner to ride? Now, this is subjective. But if you haven't tried electric, you need to try electric. It's amazing. It is riding a high-powered mountain bike with suspension and handling. That's what this thing is like to ride. It is smooth. Not having to change gears is amazing. But then as well as that, the way this thing jumps is awesome. It doesn't matter. I can come out of a corner, roll the throttle, and just have fun with it. Be light in the air and have fun with it. Combustion takes so much longer to learn. It is a whole other kettle of fish, and it is an art form. I really do take my hat off to people that are good at riding combustion bikes. They are hard. They are not easy. Always having to worry about the right gear, always having to be on it in the right RPM, shifting in the sweet spot to be fast, you know, all these things that go into it. Electric is easy. You can put your brakes up on the handlebars. As I said, we've got that regen thumb throttle brake, which is just awesome because you can literally just be stopping with your thumb. It's wicked. It's really cool. So as a riding standpoint, if you haven't tried electric, try electric. Give it a go. It is awesome. It feels amazing. I might be a bit biased because I have been riding electric now for a long time. This is my first full-size combustion bike, so a very different outlook on it to a lot of people going from a combustion bike to then trying an electric bike, which I'm seeing a lot of at the moment. Very much the other way around. An electric rider trying combustion. So if I had to have one, I'm not going to bore you anymore. If I had to have one, it would be electric. I still get on this. I still enjoy it. It's still fun, but it's way more of a headache than this. If I'm going to learn a jump or anything like that, I will jump on this. I'm comfortable. It's easy. I will jump on this. Then I'll jump on this after I've learnt it on this, because this is easy. This is so much easier. If you gave this bike to the pros, the best in the world, and actually said, go and learn this, get used to it, get used to your rear brake up on the handlebars, they would be that next level again. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't tried this. And they are starting to do that. All the top riders are actually starting to try electric, and they're actually realizing this. Whether their sponsorships allow them to talk about it or not, people are starting to realize how awesome these bikes are. So if it comes down to it, do we stick with the old school or do we give something else a go? I say we give something else a go. Go try it. If you haven't tried electric, give it a go. Whether it's a Suron, whether it's a Starkvarg, just give it a go. You know, there are hiccups at the moment. There are a lot of issues with the Stark. There are issues with the Suron. There are issues with this bike. As I said, I really need to change my motor out and do a few things there. Once you've got a solid platform, there's no reason why electric cannot outshine combustion by a long shot. So there you have it. There's my opinion. Gas versus electric. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. As long as you are having fun in this sport, that is all that matters. Be awesome if you liked, even cooler if you subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one. Rub! Zing, 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 zing! Rub! Zing, 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 zing!
It's been a long time, I've been waiting for you.